The Local Activities Database is where we record, manage and store information about local activities. The Local Activities Database drives the information on the Parkinson's UK website about the opportunities available locally for people affected by Parkinson's. In your role as a community mapping volunteer, you will be helping to make this information available. The information you add to the database will appear on the Parkinson's UK website. This step-by-step video will show you all you need to know about adding information to the database. There is also a user guide, so please make sure you have read it and have it to hand whenever using the database. Need help or want to get in touch? If you encounter any problems, you can get in touch with your staff contact or email us at localsupport@parkinsons.org.uk. The Local Activities Database is web-based, so you can access it from anywhere. Before you log on, it's important to make sure that you're using Google Chrome as your browser. To access the database, type the address in here at the top of the page, which is localsupport.parkinsons.org.uk/user/login. Add your username and password. Your username is your initial and your surname, all in lowercase. If you have forgotten your password or you need to reset it, you can do this at any time. Just click on the Reset My Password tab. Enter the email address you gave your staff contact. This is the email we have used to set up your account. An email will be sent to you to reset your password if you need it. Always take care when setting a new password. Try to create a strong password, making use of capital letters, numbers and special characters. Now that you have logged in, you can also change your password by clicking on your username and editing your profile. Adding information to the Local Activities Database is really quick and easy. To start, click on the Manage icon and hover over Content. Hover your cursor over the My Data to display the drop-down menu like this. Now select Opportunities. Your My Data tab will now be displayed. Click on the blue button at the top to add an opportunity. Then this form will be displayed. Mandatory information is indicated with a red asterisk. You will not be able to save the data without completing these boxes. The first thing you need to do is select where in the UK the activity takes place. Once you have made your selection, the local development areas associated with your selection will appear. Select the appropriate one, like this. If you are not sure which local development team you are mapping activities for, your staff contact will be able to confirm this. Now you will have to add who provides the activity. This refers to the organisation providing the activity. It could be Parkinson's UK or an external provider. As a mapping volunteer, you will only add information about signposted activities, in other words, activities provided by other organisations. An extensive list of providers is already available in the database to select from. Always make sure that the provider you are going to add isn't already added. For example, let's suppose that you would like to add an activity run by Age Concerned Glenroth. Have a look here to see if they are not already listed. In this example, you can see that the provider is already listed, so simply click on their details like this. Always make sure you click away from the box, but don't use the return key on your keyboard. Always click away using your mouse or laptop tracking pad. If the provider is not already saved to the list, you can add them like so. In Create New Provider section, add the name of the provider. Remember, this is the name of the organisation responsible for running the activity. For example, if it is a leisure centre group, always add the name of the group, not the name of the local gym where the activity happens. You can add this later on. So let's have a look at this. Suppose we are adding a seated exercise class at the local gym, the Queen Mother Sports Centre, run by Better Leisure. We need to add Better Leisure here like this. Always try to add the organisation's web address too. You can do this by visiting the website of the centre, copying the web address and pasting it into the website box. Next, you need to select a provider type from the drop-down box. As a mapping volunteer, you will only ever need to select signposting like this. It is important to select the correct option. There are a lot of interdependencies in managing the data, so do take care when selecting your option here. You do not need to add information to this part, so do not tick any of these boxes. Next, you will need to give specific details about the activity. Select the activity type. These are the categories described in your user guide. There are several options to choose from, but you should only add activities described in the guide for mapping volunteers. Please make sure you always refer back to the guidance document. Select the activity type and the subtype. You now need to give the activity a name. This title will appear in search results on the website, so remember to keep it concise and be specific. For example, Seated Exercise Victoria or Singing Class Colchester. Be as specific as possible. For example, if a provider has several seated exercise classes, use the area, e.g. Fleet Seated Exercise and Crookham Seated Exercise. This will make the experience better for the website user and distinguish one activity from another. Provide more information about this activity. You can add text to the activity description. You can use bold, bullet points and numbers to make it stand out. The information you include here will appear on the website, so take care when you stick to our brand values and house style. Follow the advice in your user guide when writing about activities. It's always a good idea to read back what you have written to check it is meaningful. But don't worry, anything you add to the database will be reviewed by an administrator before it reaches the website. Is there a cost? Select one of these options. You do not need to add detailed information about costs for signposted activities in the activity description box. Rather add that people should contact the provider for more information. You can add a hyperlink here. Type you can find out more about this activity here. Simply highlight the word where you would like to insert the link and click on the link icon like this. Now paste a web address of the provider here and click Save. Now you've created a link that will help people find out more information about the activity. Who is the activity for? We are mapping opportunities for people living with Parkinson's, so it is automatically assumed that all the activities added to the local activities database are for people with Parkinson's. Always select living with unless it's specifically for carers, newly diagnosed or younger people. At this point, we are not using the advanced option. We hope that in the future users will be able to narrow down their search, so I've added this should we need it. For now, please only use the other 4 options. Now we want to let people know some details, such as what should people expect about the activity, what format does it take place in a group setting or one-on-one, is it delivered face-to-face, via telephone or online. Select the relevant options like this. You do not need to enter the number expected to attend for any signposted activities. If you know whether booking is required or whether the venue has accessible parking, you could add this information in, but it's not essential. The next part of the form is about the frequency of activities and the times they happen at. By mapping activities provided by other organisations, we are telling people with Parkinson's about what is available near them. Organisations that we signpost to typically have their own websites and timetables that they keep up to date. Therefore, we do not need to collect the details of class times, for example. It would be impossible to keep track of any activity changes made by other organisations, so in the next section about dates and times, always set the selection to none, like this. The hyperlink we created earlier in the activity description will help people find out more if they would like to. Now we need to tell people where the activity takes place. The information you enter into the local activities database will appear on our website when people enter their postcode to search for opportunities near them. Because this search is based on a specific geographical location, it's essential that you add the location of where any activity takes place. In the next part, you'll need to give details about the venue and where the activity takes place. The system saves venue details, so you'll be able to select from the existing venues. Start typing the name of the venue and a list of venues will appear for you to select from, just like it did when we were entering the provider details. If the venue you are looking for appears in the pre-populated list, select it and click away from the box to show the details. You will be able to check if the venue selected is the right one. Click on Change Location if it isn't. If the venue is not already listed, complete the Create a New Location section. When you create a new location, you need to distinguish it from other similar venues. For example, there may be several venues called Town Hall across the UK. You can help other database users distinguish between these by adding the town name. For example, instead of just using Town Hall, enter Colchester Town Hall. You should always complete the building, company and venue name field, even if it is the same as the administrative name. This is a vital part of the address and will appear on the website. Now, contact details. Who can people get in touch with about this activity? The system saves all contact details, so you'll be able to select from existing contacts, just like before. Start typing the name of the contact and a list will appear for you to select from. Once you have selected the contact, remember to click outside or away from the box to display the details of the contact. Make sure you have selected the correct person, particularly if it's a popular name such as John Smith. Check to see if the contact you have selected is correct. If it's not, click on Change Contact to search again. If the contact is not already listed, complete a Create a New Contact section. It is important to ensure that you have an individual's consent to use their contact details. When you are adding an individual's information, you should obtain consent to use their details. A form to do this has been included in your training materials. We do not require consent from organisations to publish their details, but it is good practice to let them know. All three fields must be completed here to save the new contact. You have now added all the necessary information about the activity and you're only a few steps away from being ready to be saved to the database. Now you must add an unpublished date. This will let you know when you need to review an activity or when it stops happening. The listing will be removed from the Parkinson's UK website on the date specified but will remain on the database. We recommend that you set this a year from when you added the activity to the database unless you have other information about when the activity will stop happening. Finally, you need to select what you would like to happen to the data that you have added. You have several options. We term these the workflow states. Draft. Select this to return to the activity later. For example, you may want to start adding the opportunity but are waiting for more information to enable you to submit it for review later. Publish offline. This is not applicable for any signposted activities. Archive. Select this for activities that are no longer happening. If you do use this option, it is important to add "not continuing" in capital letters to the activity title and set the unpublished date to today's date. Needs review. Select this to get your mapped activity to appear on the website. This will be sent to the administrator for approval before it reaches the website. To save the activity, click Create. And that's it. The activity has now been added to the database. An administrator will review all added opportunities and publish them, or if there is a problem, they will be in touch to iron it out. You can see all of the opportunities that you have added in your My Data tab. Everything that you have added will appear here. On the My Opportunities tab, you can look for activities by using the search boxes. You should review this tab regularly to ensure that activities that you have submitted for review have been actioned and to check their workflow state. You can also amend any activity that you have added. To do this, find the activity you would like to update and click Edit like this. You will be taken back to the form to which you added the activity information. To change the location or contact details for this activity, simply click on Change Provider, Change Location or Change Contact button. Once you have made the necessary changes, select the relevant workflow state and click Save. There are some things you should never change. Please contact us if you see an error in the details already recorded, such as spelling mistakes or the wrong phone number. So contact us if any of these need amending. A provider, for example if the organisation has changed its name, a contact, for example an email address or phone number that has changed, or a location, for example the building name has changed. Changing these details is different from editing the information about a specific opportunity, so do get in touch with us if you need to do this. Please do not delete any data that you have added to the local activities database. Contact an administrator if you would like to permanently delete any information. It is also important to continuously check your expiring soon opportunities. You can do this by going into Content, My Data, Expiring Soon. Here you will find all the opportunities that you have entered which are expiring soon due to the unpublished date that you put in when you created the opportunity. To stop the opportunity from expiring, all you have to do is go to Edit, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and change the unpublished date to a date in the future so the opportunity doesn't expire. For example, a year from today, and click Save. Thank you for all you do to help us make local information available to people affected by Parkinson's so they can find activities.